Mark my words right here and now, Apple just changed the game when it comes to music creation. What's going on, guys? My name is Zak Kincaid. I'm a musician and creative entrepreneur, and today we're going to be going over what Apple just unveiled, their M1 chip that is coming to the new MacBook Air, MacBook Pro 13-inch, and the one I'm looking forward to the most, the Mac Mini. Just like to apologize real quick that a majority of this video looks to be slightly out of focus on my face. I am working with a new camera system, so I'm extremely sorry about that. It is still a learning curve for me, but the content is still there for you to enjoy, so I hope you enjoy it. Now, all of these devices are available on Apple's website, and I will have a link in the description if you'd like to purchase one of these for yourself. Now, the reason this is important as a musician or even just a content creator is because the price of entry to get a professional level workflow just shifted dramatically down. It is more affordable now than ever to run professional workflows on your devices. And Apple has just taken that to a next level with the M1 chip. So let's go ahead, dive onto the Apple website and see exactly what this is about. Before we get into this, I just want to state that all of the things on Apple's website are just claims right now. Nobody really has hands-on experience. So when they state you can edit 8K, you can do, 120 tracks on Logic, all of that kind of stuff, it hasn't been proven yet. So I'm actually going to be keeping myself up to date on how these work in the real world. Hopefully I can get in some review units as well. So if you want to see more of that, go ahead and subscribe, and I will keep you guys informed on exactly what's happening with this M1 chip and how it performs. So let's start with the one I think is going to be my personal favorite, is the Mac Mini. And the reason being for that is the price point of only $699. That is extremely affordable to be able to do what Apple states you can do with this device. So let's get into that real quick. Apple is claiming a 3 times faster CPU performance, 6 times faster graphics, 15 times faster machine learning. The way the M1 chip is going to work on all of these devices is it's going to be 8 cores, 4 that are for performance and 4 that are for efficiency. Within this chip, it's going to have an integrated GPU and integrated RAM. It's saying that with the 4 performance cores, you can record, mix, and master professionally quality music in Logic Pro with scores of tracks, plugins, and virtual instruments, and create stunning images in Adobe Lightroom with unprecedented speed and responsiveness. In Final Cut Pro, it's saying 3.4 times faster ProRes transcode. ProRes is a very, very hard codec to work with. My computer struggles with that, and it was $2,500. Logic Pro, 2.8 times more plugins than you could run on the previous Mac Mini. So there's actually an image on this website that I'm gonna find for you guys that shows just this Mac Mini running so many damn plugins. Here it is right here. Look at that. There's at least 25 tracks on the screen that we can see, and it looks like it keeps going further. And each one of these is running plugins with buses, and it's all mixed, and it's playing back seamlessly. And what I am seeing here is that none of these tracks are frozen. If this is true, and this is what you're able to do with a Mac Mini, that's all you need for music creation. Honestly, all you need for music creation is a Mac Mini, if this is true. Thunderbolt and USB 4, which is great because a lot of people were speculating that Apple was going to go with a proprietary that would still be the same shape as USB-C, but wouldn't work exactly. It's good to know that Apple is still going to support both Thunderbolt and USB-C. You got HDMI 2.0 and you got USB-A's, which I didn't even know Apple still made devices that had USB-A on it. You got Wi-Fi 6, which means you're going to have faster speeds, but honestly, if you have the ability to plug in wired, you're never going to get better than a wired Ethernet connection. 8K video plays seamlessly and graphic-intensive workflows race along at unbelievable speeds. Render a timeline up to 6 times faster in Final Cut Pro, and edit high-resolution photos in Affinity Photo up to 4 times faster. So what this is stating, if Apple is correct, is that the Mac Mini will give you the ability to run a small media company from your home completely on a Mac Mini device for $699 to start. That is by far the cheapest it's ever been to get in a professional workflow. And even if you're like, oh, you can build a PC and have way more performance, there is nothing on PC that has that kind of power. at that price point. So the Mac Mini looks absolutely insane. This is the one I'm most excited for because with that price point, I think it's going to empower more people to start working creatively and start building up their creative juices. And just honestly, it's awesome that Apple has made the entry point to something that can do that kind of workflow so affordable. So MacBook Air is pretty much the same thing, 3 times 5 faster CPU, 5 times faster GPU, 9 times faster machine learning. You know, it's still the same exact chip, but the MacBook Air actually doesn't have a cooling system where the Mac Mini does, which I'm very, very curious to see how that plays out. It can still deliver all of this power they're claiming with no fan. That means the MacBook Pro 13-inch that has a fan, that's gotta have a lot of power. Same thing, they just said record, mix, and master professional quality music in Logic Pro. 2.5 more plugins than the MacBook Air, than the old MacBook baseline. For the first time, content creators can edit and seamlessly play back multiple streams of full quality 4K video without dropping a frame. My $2,500 MacBook Pro edits 4K footage without dropping a frame, but once I start stacking up quite a few of them, it will skip from time to time. This is stating that a MacBook Air can do it. I spent $2,500 on this. The MacBook Air is $999. Do you see what I'm saying when I said the price point to have those creative workflows has just shifted to benefit the consumer? Up to 18 hours of battery life, that's cool. I don't really know anyone who would use a device for 18 hours. They say you can watch video for 18 hours. So I guess if you want to watch movies on your MacBook Air all day and not really sleep, or I guess you get 6 hours of sleep, then you can do that. 9 times faster neural engine, which means photo editing, that kind of stuff is going to be a blaze on this device. And they've upgraded the screen to the Retina that the MacBook Pro has, so you are getting the P3 color gamut, which are more accurate colors. You're gonna get, I think, like 25% more colors than the regular sRGB, which is really good if you're doing any kind of color grading or photo editing. Which, as an artist, you need to know how to edit your own photos and videos. I've made videos all about that, and if you wanna see that, I'll put a card in the top right. Apple is also stating that you're getting an improved FaceTime camera at still 720p, but they're saying you're getting a 3 mic array, which is going to give you better studio sound. In fact, in the keynote, they said you can use the microphones on your computer to record audio files. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. I believe it's the same speaker system that comes on the 16-inch MacBook Pro, and it is incredible. Do not record audio files with this speaker. It is not professional quality. It does not sound nearly as good as an inexpensive mic. So if you're gonna record audio files, please use a mic. I guess if you found yourself in a pinch and you needed to record like a voiceover or some kind of audio, it would work. But if you're trying to actually do professional stuff, use a mic. I don't know why they said you can record audio files with it. I would avoid that. As you can see, there's only 2 USB-C ports, and that actually carries up to the MacBook Pro as well, which let's go ahead and talk about that. So I made a video on the 2020 MacBook Pro stating it was the best device for music creation for most people. And I still, until these new devices came out, I stood by that. Where the issues would come in was with some overheating when it came to editing high intensive video. And for someone like me personally, who is a musician but makes all of their income from video as well, I needed to be able to do that video editing. So I had to upgrade to the 16-inch. And while I do love the bigger display, there are some major downsides. 1, the fans are extremely loud. 2, it was a lot more expensive. And 3, it's hard to travel with it. I know we're not traveling much right now, but I tend to keep my computers for a couple of years, so we will be traveling again soon. And I did actually take this on an airplane with me because I had to travel for something, and it was just extremely hard to manage. You don't get much room on an airplane as it is, and I couldn't open it all the way. So it would have been nice to have a 13-inch just for that smaller size with all the power that I needed that this one gives me. And I think, based on what Apple is saying, that this 13-inch Pro is going to be just that. 2.8 times faster CPU, 5 times faster graphics, 11 times faster machine learning, 20 hours of battery life. Again, why you would need that, I don't know. You get the same exact chip, but this one actually has cooling in it, unlike the MacBook Air. I believe that's actually the only thing that separates it. So I think Apple might dumb down the chip into the MacBook Air a little bit to keep it cooler, whereas in the Pro, they're like, hey, we have cooling in this, let's let it run. So Logic Pro, 2 times more plugins than the baseline 13-inch MacBook Pro. So what we're seeing here is the jump isn't as high as you see in the Mac Mini or with the MacBook Air. So they're really pushing those products to be professional. I think what we're gonna see here is something that has the power, probably a little bit better, but very similar power specs to the $1799 MacBook Pro. Because this is compared to the baseline, we're gonna see similar to that, probably a little better, but we're also gonna see it at a $1299 price point. And Final Cut Pro, 2x8 faster ProRes transcode than the base model 13-inch. So I mean, again, massive numbers here, massive upgrades over what currently is out there for cheaper prices. 6x faster 3D title render speed in Final Cut Pro, along with 8K video playing seamlessly and graphic intensive workflows zip by in a blink. So what I'm seeing here is this seems like it's very, very similar to that Mac Mini, but in a portable package. Now, unlike when it came to Logic Pro, this is getting a large jump over the previous 13-inch, up to 6 times better when it comes to video. So, like I said, at that entry-level price point, you're getting way, way better specs. We have to get these devices into actual creatives' hands so they can, we can see exactly what we can do with them. But Apple is typically pretty good at telling the truth during their keynotes. That being said, I'm gonna go over which device I think is for what kind of person, but keep in mind, I have not had any kind of hands-on experience with these devices. I hope to have some soon, but being that I am a smaller YouTube channel, I don't have the money to go out and buy all three, and I'm too small to get review units, but I am gonna try to get my hands on one of these. Maybe that MacBook Air or the Mac Mini, or maybe I get the new 13-inch MacBook Pro and sell this one, possibly get the workflow I need and save a little bit of money. Actually probably make money back, because I could sell this for more than that 13 is worth. That might be the move, actually. I don't know yet. You guys leave down in the comments what you think I should get. Should I get the Mac Mini, the MacBook Pro, or the MacBook Air? Which one would you like to see a review on? And obviously that's if I get any of them. I may not, but I'd like to. I think the Mac Mini is for someone who already has a laptop. Maybe you're on Windows on your laptop, and you want to kind of get your first glimpse into that Mac ecosystem. The Mac Mini is where it's at. You're gonna be able to set up kind of a little bit of a home office built around that and start doing creative work on it. And it seems like a lot of it. Like, I think if you are someone who has a very, very strict budget, but you're wanting to get into music production, or you're wanting to get into video editing, or just any kind of creative work, this is the way to go. You are going to be able to hone and learn your craft on this device, and it is going to scale up with you for quite a long time. Now, another situation this might be useful is someone, say like me, who has a laptop already, they do creative work on it. This Mac Mini could be a way to supplement it, so you always have something at home in case you leave your Mac at the office, or you leave it in your car or something, you're not having to run and get it. You could just do the work on the Mac Mini, which would also be very nice. That's something I need to consider as well. But I think the Mac Mini is going to help a lot of people finally get their first chances of doing creative work on a professional level, not using some free plugins, not using a cracked version of FL Studios. I'm looking at you, 13-year-old Zach. And I think it's just overall an incredible shift for power for the price, and I think a lot of people are going to be able to do more than enough of what they need on this device. Now, that being said, if you're someone who is looking for a new computer and you need something to be portable, the MacBook Air might be the way to go. I think this is really for your students, whether you're in high school or college, or your business professionals who are looking for a new laptop to run their business, and then you can do creative work as well. And I think it's gonna be very similar to the Mac Mini, of it's kind of your stepping ground of getting a taste of professional work. And when I say professional work, I mean using professional apps. You can definitely do a lot of creative stuff on here, and some would even argue that you can do professional work on an iPhone, but there is just something about using a macOS ecosystem for creating. And I think this is what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of people start into it, and it's going to scale up as you get better, as you learn. And I will go ahead and say right now, if you are someone who is on a budget, these two devices, the MacBook Air and the Mac Mini, depending on whether you need to travel, will be more than enough to run a professional creative business off of. Now, last but not least, that leaves the MacBook Pro. If you are someone who is wanting a new Mac, but you are not a professional, you are not making a living or even a partial income on your creative work, I would stay away from the MacBook Pro. I think this is the first time that Apple's ever really done this successfully, is that their consumer laptops, the MacBook Air, the Mac Mini, are good enough for people who want to be, want to grow to that professional level. And then their MacBook Pros are for people who are actual pros. Before, everyone just got a MacBook Pro because the MacBook Air just had a lot of limitations until the last one. I mean, the MacBook Pro didn't even have a Retina screen until 2 years ago. So everyone kind of got the MacBook Pro, and that was just kind of the one you go for. The MacBook Air was just kind of isolated, but now they've done a good job of giving you all of the features you need to learn and to grow creatively on those consumer devices. And then if you are a pro, you get exactly what you need on that pro device, but it's still not much more money. I'd say this is for the professional who is traveling, who is doing a lot of creative work and making a majority of their income with the creative work. Whether you are a photographer, whether you're a musician, whether you're a video editor. Now keep in mind, I will say once again, I don't think this is what you have to get to be able to do that. If you're a photographer, I'm pretty sure you could get away with the MacBook Air. And yeah, that's it for this one. I think this is the first time Apple is actually allowing their consumer devices to still do professional workflow. Like before, if you wanted to do video editing, you basically had to go with the 16-inch for the graphics card. But based on Apple's claims, it looks like the 13-inch might be able to do that as well. So what we're seeing is a huge shift in the industry of professional workflows being able to take place at a lower price. Now, I personally am excited to see what they do with the new 16-inch with the M1 chip, or will it be the M2 or the M1X? Who knows, but I think that's going to be a very, very powerful device. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you want me to keep you up to date on these devices, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be keeping myself up to date to see, exactly how these work once they get in people's, real world hands. I'm going to try to get at least one of the devices for myself to review, but again, being a smaller channel, it's a little bit tougher for me. So I will definitely keep you guys up to date on exactly what the industry is seeing. So if you want to stay up to date with all that, go ahead and subscribe. Also, I'm going to have videos coming out about doing professional workflows on the iPhone 12 Pro, doing some music editing on that. The new PS5 launches tomorrow, and I believe I'm going to be able to secure a launch edition PS5. So if you want to see that video, go ahead and subscribe. And to top it all off, I do have some new music coming out soon. So if you want to support me in that realm, go ahead and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care.